So we have a pretty crazy story, a pretty, embarrassing story for the United States of America. And now it is basically Rex Tillerson, who's the Secretary of State, was talking. He was giving a talk, and he says that basically his staff prints out Trump's tweets to use them to craft foreign policy, which is really crazy because it means that basically his half-ass garbage that he puts out on Twitter, his blurts, his, stupidity that comes out on Twitter, with calling Kim Jong-un Rocket Man and saying really crazy shit, is now actually being used by the Secretary of State to craft foreign policy. That's a very, worrying thing to see. So here's what Raw Story says. They say, Secretary of State Rex Tillerson on Wednesday provided stunning insight into how Donald Trump's executive branch functions, telling an audience at Stanford University he received printouts of the president's tweets and has to figure out how to, quote, use them to craft the administration's foreign policy. Just describing it as, quote, actually not a bad system, Tillerson said he never gets a heads up about the latest topic on Trump's Twitter feed. There's not a whole lot I'm going to do until it's out there. The challenge is just getting caught up because I don't even have a Twitter account that I can follow when he's tweeting. So my staff usually has to print his tweets out and hand them to me. It might be 5 minutes or it might be an hour before somebody hands me a piece of paper and says, hey, the president's tweeted this out. It allows me now to think about, is it a foreign policy issue? What is he tweeting about? And how do we take that and now use it? So basically, this is everything that we feared about Trump's Twitter usage and far more. I've already talked about how his Twitter account compromises basically the word of the United States, the bargaining power of the United States. It makes the United States look like a complete embarrassment. And worst of all, it makes the United States look like an irrational actor. Basically, we are an irrational actor, which is horrible for diplomacy and bargaining and things like that. And also, it can be very dangerous because when it comes to the North Korea situation and other situations, when you have him just blurting shit out on Twitter, it's really stupid, again, because that's something that should be kept professional, and these are half-assed, just blurred out pieces of garbage. And to top it off, we now have basically the Secretary of State, and I don't know why he would admit this. I think that this is probably one of the stupidest things that he could have admitted from a, personal standpoint. Maybe he doesn't like Trump. I don't know. Maybe he wants to get fired. I'm not sure, because otherwise I don't know why you would tell people this. But his tweets are being used to craft foreign policy. So again, it is all of our Twitter usage concerns and much, much more. Because we're already talking about the dude just blurting dumb shit out on Twitter, basically escalating issues on Twitter with other foreign nations that presidents for decades upon decades haven't been able to solve. And remember, if you recall, Trump undercut Rex Tillerson's attempt. Basically, he was talking to the North Koreans, and Trump said, hey, don't do it. He said, don't talk to Rocket Man and all this shit on Twitter. And, he's blasted his own cabinet members on Twitter. And it's just probably the most embarrassing administration I've ever seen in history. And this is, again, something that's really a cause for concern. Support independent progressive media by leaving a subscription down below. Leave a like and share the video. Help us out on Patreon, or you can donate in other ways. Links are in the description down below. We are fighting Trump tooth and nail, and we will continue to do so with your help.